Welcome to the Ronnie Show. So glad you could be with us here tonight. Well, it's been another week, hasn't it? Since we last talked. Although, well, I shouldn't say that because we released the Ronnie Show Wednesday night, which was supposed to air last Friday. So, yeah, sorry about that. But you know what? It's okay. You know, it's fine. Things happen all the time. So, yeah, but let's go talk about my week. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you. Such a good audience, I swear, around here on this show. I mean, I can't thank them enough. Can't thank all of you at home enough. So yeah, we'll kind of talk about my week. At least from the last Wednesday to, because we tape these on Wednesday nights, so yeah. So let's see, last Wednesday, Thursday, no, the test, actually. Well, I guess I already had kind of mentioned this last week, but the test went good. In fact, we got it back today, which I'll talk about here shortly. So yeah, like I said, it went well, so woohoo. And so anyway, yeah, and then let's see, Thursday, what did I do Thursday? Oh, wait, no, sorry. Thursday we took the test. So yeah, and then just, kind of chilled out the rest of the day, hung out with my friends, and then Friday we didn't even have class, so that was quite fun, I guess we could say. So yeah. And then, of course, this weekend, Monday was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so I had a 4-day weekend, so that was pretty nice. And then, let's see here, Thursday, I think that's pretty much all we did. And then Friday night, obviously we had the Muskies game, my 600th Musketeers game I've covered. Still can't believe it's been 600. I mean, it's just, oof! Over 10 years, too, nonetheless. So, yeah, that was quite nice. Oh, shoot, the confetti. Anyway, so we had that Friday night. Basically, outside of the streaming stuff we did all weekend long, because that took up a majority of my weekend. Besides that, I basically just chilled and relaxed for the most part. Yeah, because Saturday we were on the air for 6.5 hours. Sunday we were on for 7 hours. So, yeah. And then Monday I just decided not to do the NBA game just because had some work to get done for like school and other personal projects I'm working on, which might be coming up here on RVN. So that'll be exciting. I am going to film a pilot for a show that will air on Sunday night after the NFC Championship game, after we call that, so that'll be exciting. Although I think, well, I wanted to film it tonight, but I don't know, I haven't really worked on the format for it yet and did like a run through before, because usually what I do is that I come up with the format of this show, because obviously, we have to, especially since, if it's a game show that is already aired or is currently airing, we always have to twist the rules since I'm the only one who's playing, and hosting and things like that. We have to switch up the rules a little bit. And this one is actually a reboot of a game show that only aired 5 episodes. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping to do, when I do these game show pilots and things like that, like the game shows I create over the next few years, I kind of hope to have them be like reboots of shows. Of course, the summer fun and games we've got going on now, once, I get to doing what I want to do, at least in terms of this channel, that'll all basically be going away. So, or at least we might still have it on, but it'll be a different host and different format and things like that. So, yeah, but anyway, I have to, what I do is that I create the format, then I do like a run through, and, you know, kind of iron out all the kinks for that. And then we film the pilot, and then we see what we go from there. Basically, we see how it does, how the people react to it, what the viewership is, and then we'll determine if whether or not we pick it up for the summer. So yeah, so and then there's going to be 2 shows this year. The one show, the Pyramid, and what was it called, RVN Arcade or whatever, I don't even remember. Arcadium, well, that's the site it was on. Arcadium, the Pyramid, were just filler shows. Like, I didn't intend to do those shows. But, you know, obviously circumstances arose, so yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. So, but risking it all, this is going to be a full-on game show. Well, no, not the one airing Sunday night. It'll air after the Super Bowl. That'll be our Super Bowl lead-out program. And then the one airing this Sunday is called It's Your Chance of a Lifetime. It was a show hosted by Gordon Elliott that aired on Fox in 2000. It was kind of the last show to compete with Millionaire, but it wasn't going to work, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, it just wasn't going to work. So, and that's okay. Those things happen. So, but I thought it was a good show. Very basic. You're given a certain dollar amount to start, and then you just wager it on 9 questions, and whatever money you have at the end, then, you know, that's how much you win. So yeah, and then the game ends once you get an incorrect answer, and you leave with whatever you'd wagered. So, deducted from the total you had going into the question. So that part will kind of all stay the same. And then there's like they do a question at the beginning where you can pay off like your credit card debt or whatever. It won't be credit card debt. It'll just be like regular cash, like a guaranteed prize fund you get. So yeah, add it on to whatever you get during the main game. So yeah, that's basically that. It's just there's a couple of lifelines that would not work. They had a couple of lifelines in the show that wouldn't work for this version. So I kind of have to think about what the lifeline should be for this version if this does go to air. So yeah, we just kind of have to think about it a little bit more. So yeah. So yeah, we kind of got off track there, but that's okay. But like I said, I pretty much didn't do anything besides all those streams. Like, I prepped, I did my game notes and charts and things like that, and then did the games, but I didn't do anything else up until at least Tuesday, yesterday, as I'm filming this. Tuesday we got back to class. You know, class went good, had lunch with my friends, kind of worked on some stuff like I said. And today, as I'm filming this, we got our test back, and basically I told you what the test format was. It was eventually, once we got the test, I think it was 60-ish multiple choice, about 20 true or false, and then 3 short answer questions, but it totaled all up to 100 points. So, and I actually did all right on it. All the essays were opinionated, so that was confirmed, and I got all 20 points from all those essays, so that was good. I got a 72 out of 100 on it, so that was really good. I'm glad I got that. So basically I got 28. So basically I got a 58 out of 80 on like multiple choice and true or false. So that's not bad. You know, you would have liked to do better, but there was a potential of 29 bonus points, and he gave today, just because some of the questions were weird. Well, a couple of them were weird, and some people brought up different things and things like that. So we're actually going to get like more bonus points, because I got 15 out of the 29 bonus points. And then, like I said, he's going to add on like 1 or 2 more. So that would be 17, which means I got an 89 out of 100 on it. So it'll be in the... Well, the least I can get on it is an 87, so it'll be in the 87 to 89 range once it's all said and done. So, very good score, very good score. So, yeah, I did great on it. I will say that. Did surprise me, I know that much. So, yeah, that kind of leads us to today. Um, I couldn't really do much, to be quite honest with you. Um, as you know, well, the weather has just been crap all day long. Like it snowed a little bit, but not much. But it's just been really, really windy. Oh my God. It was just blowing snow all over the place. As you know, one of my resolutions well, I never usually do resolutions, but, I kind of wanted to get a little more active this year. Um, so what I do is that, well, I started out by just doing one lap around campus, like around the outskirts of campus. Like, we're basically contained in a big rectangle, and then there's like a sidewalk on the outside. So what I did was that I started walking, around it, and it was fine. However, today I had decided that I was going to do 2 laps now around it. I was going to start doing 2 laps around it. And then, like, I also do kind of like some exercise warm-up type things before I go on these walks. However, I couldn't even get through the first lap. I almost did it, but I got through about half of the walk, and then all of a sudden I turned, and of course it was the dirt. All the snow was blowing towards me, because that's, I mean, I'm surprised I didn't get frostbite on my face. Like, I was just, oh my God, I literally could not see at all. Like, at one point I was kind of like pulling my hood over and like trying to see, but, so I kind of had to cut the route short, but yeah, so, and of course I didn't go on my second lap because, I didn't want that to happen again, so I just didn't do it. So yeah, I did that. Let's see, what else did I do today? Other than that, I just, worked. I haven't started on any preparation for stuff this weekend, but kind of looking to the week ahead now. Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow and Friday, I don't have class, so that's kind of exciting. But I do have to, there are several assignments that, like 3 or 4 I have to get done. That are due Friday, so that in my class, so it shouldn't be and they're all basically like 1-page reflections on certain things, so no problem whatsoever. So I'll be doing that pretty much the majority of the afternoon tomorrow, up until, I have some errands to run early on in the afternoon, so, but other than that, I'll be doing that, and then a little later on tomorrow night, starting the prep work for Friday night, Lincoln versus Sioux City. Saturday night, the Lakers versus Dallas. Sunday afternoon, Lincoln versus Sioux City. Those are the 3 games I'm going to be broadcasting this weekend, Friday through Sunday. Friday, I'm not sure if we're going to be down in Sioux City or we're going to be here in the studio, because the temperatures, at least here in Sioux Falls, last I checked, it was supposed to be -7 as a high temperature on Friday. And I think it was supposed to be like 1 or 2 degrees, positive 1 or 2. So that's a little better, down in Sioux City. So it just depends. I mean, I want to make the trip, but I know being out in the cold like that's because, it's an hour and 5-minute trip for me. So, but I do know for a fact one of my family members, they're actually going up to the Twin Cities, and it'll probably be a little bit colder because, I don't know, I guess I was reading on the news like 40 million people are going to have are going to be affected by like frigid temperatures this weekend. So, and I think we were within the 40 million. So it's going to be cold. I'm still on the fence. I want to do it. I've always said that, unless it's snowing really bad, like we get 5, 6 inch, even if we just get snow, period, really. No, what my thing about going down to Sioux City is, when it comes to not going, is number one, is there big things in sports going on? Because we missed a couple of games in Sioux City because of the World Series. We missed the home game Sunday because of the divisional round games. And I missed one this year because well, I missed another one this year because, well, one, it was the school day game. And then two, for whatever reason, my school decided to schedule a required assembly that all the freshmen had to go to at 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. They couldn't find any better time to do it, but 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. It was just really freaking stupid. I mean, and that was only game 2 of the World Series too, that night. So I probably wouldn't have gone anyway. Well, maybe I would have. And then come back. Because that was a 6 o'clock game. The game goes till 8:30. I leave at like 8:45. Come back here. And it's about 5 to 10. The World Series game was probably still going on. Like in the last inning and a half or so. So there's a travel scenario where that could have worked. But it just didn't work. So yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So yeah, that happened, and then see, I don't think I really missed any other games for weather related. I mean, New Year's Eve was, because it's self-explanatory. Although I'm thinking just based off of this year, I really missed it. I really did. Sure, we had fun doing our thing in here in the studio for New Year's Eve, but I really missed going down to watching the game in Sioux City at the Tyson Event Center. I missed it a whole lot. So I'm kind of, part of the reason why I did it was because, the way people drive on New Year's Eve and things like that, it gets crazy. Although that mainly happens, after people are done partying and things like that, which, if I would have gone down there and came back, it would have been about 11 p.m. and then we probably still would have been in here throwing a big New Year's Eve celebration. So I think we might do that next year. However, I'm sure, just based on how this year went, I'm sure we'll probably get asked to go to Arizona again. And yeah, just with the way the schedule is and when the days are next year, that might be a tough sell for me. So yeah, I swear my uncle and my aunt have chose the laziest, or not the lousiest, that was the word I was looking for, the lousiest, worst times that they could have asked me to go on vacation with them. Swear to God. Because the first time they asked me to go up to their lake house, of course, it was right in the middle of the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals, so luckily enough, we didn't have any eliminations. We did do one game up there, but it felt weird to me. Like, I just felt obviously when you film from a different place, it doesn't feel normal, but I got a vibe for whatever reason that somebody was like maybe gonna break in. And I don't know why I had that feeling in my head, but I just did. The second time they asked me to go up, I was, it was kind of a time where nothing was really going on, so that was okay. Although they didn't really ask me in a way, but because I guess my cousin, he plays in for his college, there's like a national tournament in California or whatever, and there was a chance that I could have gone to California for that. There was a chance that could have happened, but it got to be too late, and by the time, we pretty much needed to have a final answer on whether or not we were going to go, it was just too late. But, that's kind of, around that time, is kind of when we know who's moving on to these championships. So that was also kind of a bad time. And then, of course, this time going down to Arizona, we have bowl games and, college football playoff games. Like I said, the New Year's Eve game, because initially we were maybe going to go down New Year's Eve instead of New Year's Day. But, obviously we chose New Year's Day because I was going to be busy doing stuff on New Year's Eve. So, yeah, those are kind of like, when it's the playoffs in any sport, you can't take me off. Because once March Madness starts, from like mid-March until like mid-June, I gotta be like locked in on calling these games. Because I mean, luckily enough, we will get about, no, we won't even get a break this year, because the USHL decided, oh hey, we're gonna end a week earlier than usual. So we won't get a break from any kind of playoff action, because it'll unless the Musketeers get a bye, which at the beginning of the season, through the first month, you probably would have thought we were crazy for thinking that. But, well, really up until December, actually, because the first couple of games of December, we really turned it around, and we are within 2 points of second place, which if we get in the top two in either conference, then we get a bye from round one. So I'm really hoping we can do that this year, which if that's the case, then we'll get a week off. Like, we'll still call games that weekend, but like it won't be any playoffs, because the NBA regular season ends that weekend. Then I think there's an NHL game that I'm going to plan on calling that weekend. So yeah, just a lot of things going on. So yeah. So like and my uncle and aunt, and they know who they are, if you're watching this, don't ask me to go on vacation with you guys from like mid-March to mid to late June, okay? Simple as that. And then, like I said, kind of around that Christmas, New Year's time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are cool. Love you all to death. But like, when it's the postseason, just don't bother me, okay? Which, that sounds really bad, but you know what? I mean, what we're doing now is, at least with this channel, what we're doing now is only like a fraction of what I want this channel to eventually evolve into. Which, you know, and I've said this before, and we might even do another updated network presentation here soon. But basically, I have a talk show from, you know, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Each hour, well, the first 2 hours will be the same thing, and then the next two will be something different each hour. So I'll have that. That'll run from 11 to 2, like I said, Eastern Time every morning / early afternoon. And then basically weekends, I call all the sports I do. Although, like I've said in the past, I want to, you know, on top of what I do now, which is the 4 major professional sports along with college football and college basketball, what I want to do, well, in the 3 Sioux City teams, the Muskies, the Bandits, and the Explorers, what I eventually want to do is do my high school's football and basketball, as well as volleyball and maybe even soccer too. So that would kind of be exciting for sure, if we could do all that. So yeah, that's kind of like my big thing that I want to accomplish at some time. So yeah, and you might be thinking, Ronnie, when are you going to get the time to go on vacation? Trust me, I'll have plenty of time for that. So yeah, what I'll do is that I'll allow myself to take 2 weeks worth of days, or 2 or 3 weeks worth of days off, if I want to go on like vacation or something like that. Because obviously with the X's season, you know, it's 100 games now, and that means I would only call like 85 of them. So, which is fine. You know, I got no problem with that. But plus, I want to do Ronnie's news, which basically just talks about news of the day, and do this show. It's called ABC. Well, Howard Cosell used to host a show in the early 80s to mid 80s called ABC Sports Beat, and that was like the first. That show was basically Real Sports with Brian Gumbel before that became a thing. So I want to do that, although instead of it being on a monthly basis, it would be every single week. And it might not just be, you know, the deep behind the scenes type stories, you know, it would just kind of sum up the news of the week, and then like that would be half the show, and then the other half would be like those, you know, feature story type things. So I'll have that. And then something I wanted to do that we've tried out here was Ronnie Vadine's Dateline RVN. So basically we would like go back to the old days of Dateline with Stone Phillips and Jane Pauley and kind of, you know, do things like that. Although I've kind of shied away from that idea just a little bit. I'm not sure if I want to do that or not. I do have it still on the schedule because, as you know, I want to kind of turn this channel with the help of like YouTube or a streaming service or something like that, with some company, to turn this into like a full-on broadcast network, which is why it's called the Ronnie Network, because it's named after me. Like, even though they would be helping me, like, I would still make all the final decisions in terms of, you know, who I want on my show and things like that. You know, those people would just kind of help me manage, like, all of our finances and, like, all the celebrities and guests who appear on all the shows and things like that. So, yeah, I'm getting way too in-depth with this right now, but like I said, we'll do another network presentation, maybe in February at some point, but, yeah, because the rest of January is, like, booked, so, yeah, which is not a bad thing or anything like that, but yeah. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Well, I guess we already kind of, we already touched on what's coming up on this weekend here on this channel. Got the 2 Muskies games. Like I said, I'm not sure if we'll be in here Friday night or we'll be down in Sioux City. Because Friday night's actually a charity event, because it's our Aubrey Brown night game. And basically, if you don't know, the story behind it is that Garrett Brown, who played with us, oh gosh, it's been like 3 or 4 years ago right now at this point, he had a little sister named Aubrey who would now be about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months younger than I am. Okay, so this is just a voiceover. I got some of my info wrong, so apologies. So Aubrey was born and she died in 2005. It's their younger brother, Griffin, who I think I'll talk about here shortly. He's about 4.5 months younger than I am, so just a little clarification there. And then we lost also 2 before we get back to regular programming here on this show. We lost one of the more well-known Billet family dads. Mike Barazio was his name. He passed away. I didn't know him personally. I knew of him, but just from what it sounds like from everybody, it just sounds like he was a really great guy. So yeah, condolences to his family. So yeah, let's get back to the show. She died at a young age from SIDS. So after that, they started an organization in her name, and they've been raising funds to, you know, help families that have dealt with, you know, those painful losses, you know, who have lost kids to SIDS and things like that, and just give them support. So, and of course, there's special jerseys, and they auction them off. And the reason why we usually play Lincoln for those is that his brother, Griffin Brown, played for Lincoln, and I guess his father had some high ownership, well, not ownership, but some high role in the organization, which that by itself makes me sick, but the fact that his brother played on the team. But it's for a good cause, you know. I kind of let those grievances go aside, you know, just so that we can support this cause. So, yeah, so like I said, I really, really, really would love to make it on Friday night, and hopefully I can. So, yeah. And then, of course, those, once again, will be tape delayed, and then we'll have RVN highlights of the week, so you'll see kind of the highlights for that. So, yeah. And you're only going to get one of those tonight. We're going to push the other one to tomorrow night. So, yeah, at 8 o'clock, 7 Central. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Well, what did we learn here tonight? I'm not sure what we learned tonight. I think it's that, be careful when you're outside in the weather that we are in. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much.